The man's wages were scant, yet his wife would dance to welcome him home each day. At the mere signal of his glance, she'd understand instantly. When the dance ended, his wife would let out a fart, a silly moment that pulled him back to reality. One evening after work, he spotted a drunk man tumble onto the railroad tracks. The crowd panicked at once, leaning too far forward as he joined the onlookers. He was jostled down onto the tracks. He instinctively tried to clamber back up, then spun around to wave down the oncoming subway. When that failed, he hauled the drunk man to safety. Luckily, the subway whistled past, inches away, leaving both unharmed. Though he'd saved a life, he grumbled all the way home about who'd pushed him. Arriving home, he found a pack of rowdy teens bullying someone downstairs. He started to intervene, but froze when he saw how much taller they were. The courage he'd mustered moments before evaporated. By chance, a police car rolled by, so he summoned the nerve to play the hero, feigning righteousness. The next day, he woke to find himself hailed as the city's hero. News of his deeds spread like wildfire. Everyone he'd helped stepped forward to sing his praises. He even became the city's most prominent human rights lawyer. His classmate, a congressman, was struggling to find a mayoral candidate, until he saw the man's poster and hatched a plan. His family could scarcely believe it when he announced he was running for mayor. After training and a glossy makeover, he soon looked the part. On the day of the candidate debate, he was too nervous to sit still. His opponents jeered, turning the audience against him, treating him like a laughingstock. Amid the laughter, only his wife danced to cheer him on, a gesture that steadied his nerves. In the second debate, he drew on his life at the bottom, speaking plainly from the perspective of ordinary citizens. It struck a chord with the public at once, sending his approval ratings soaring. But his opponents laid a trap. They sent an agent to befriend his wife, convincing her she could finally fulfill her dream of debuting as a dancer. They staged compromising photos to blackmail him. Furious, he confronted his wife and walked in on her with the agent. His emotions boiled over. He scoffed that her debut was a ridiculous fantasy, forgetting that before marriage, she'd been a renowned lead dancer, giving it all up to be a housewife. They fought bitterly and separated. Before the third debate, his opponents had bribed key figures. They brandished photos of his wife, calling her a dancer, and fabricating an affair with the agent. Public opinion shifted overnight. He became the target of worldwide condemnation. His wife watched it all unfold on TV. His classmate rushed to apologize, admitting he'd dragged him into this mess. He took the stage to speak, his head spattered with eggs and flour, and confessed openly, his wife was no adulterer. When he'd studied for the bar exam, he'd contributed nothing to the family for 7 years. It was all her doing, his beloved wife. His own inadequacy, he said, had crushed her dreams. The words moved the crowd. Just as he was about to concede, his wife rushed to the scene to stand by him. Her love emboldened him to return to the stage.